Hello, lovely showy ovarians. Just dropping in before this podcast with the excellent Angela Barnett for 3 reasons. 1, it's my wedding anniversary. Hooray for us, 8 years. 2, come and see the tempestuous in Rotorua, Stratford and Palmerston North throughout April. Radio New Zealand just said it was really, really clever. And they're generally quite clever, so hooray for me. But the most important reason I am here is to give a content warning. Angela is very honest with talking about her struggles with bulimia and eating disorders. So please be aware that that is coming. We also deal with this a lot through a lot of quite dark humor probably, and I don't think it's offensive, but I thought I would flag it. Also, Angela talks about her mother's journey with being institutionalized due to disabilities, and we discuss our own internalized ableism around that and other things too. So, on with this very fascinating podcast, and happy Easter everyone. I'm sure you all have very tight hot cross buns. Hello everyone, kia ora koutou and no mai haere mai to Showy Ovaries with me, your hostess with the most chest, Penny Ashton. And a special hello and ngā mihi nui thanks to all of you who came to see me at the Poetry Slam at Womat, a wondrous festival in Taranaki where they allow you to take your beer anywhere and treat you like an adult. It's very pleasing. Yes, it's another episode so soon after the last episode for season 3. I have another one coming up not too far away with Nikki Bezant, which I recorded last week and will be released with her new book when it hits the shelves very shortly, and the internet shelves. As always, a quick mention that I am not a doctor, and I have run out of jokes about that, so I'm just not a doctor. If you need any help of a specific kind, please seek out your medical professional, menopause specialist, or mum. And speaking of mums, today's guest is a mum of 2. She has lived in Zambia, New York, California, and Tamaki Makaurau, and Taradale and Cambridge, we were just discussing. She is a writer, communications professional, and brand spanker who loves interviewing people and telling stories, particularly around the female form and smashing stereotypes. This has all been influenced particularly by her, quote, full noise bulimia for all of her 20s, which we will certainly get to, including a longer introduction in a bit. But for now, please welcome to my West Auckland whare, Angela Barnett.
Oh, kia ora.
Kia ora, hello.
Oh, ngā mihi nui for that nice introduction.
That's right, and you know that's a longer one coming.
Oh, yes. Brand spanker, I like that.
Yes. I think that's there is actually a company called Brand Spanking, but we're not affiliated.
Yeah,
that's right, we're not. But I think it is, it's like a really good way of describing it.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of spanking that goes on.
Now, you probably are aware that Barnett is Cockney rhyming slang for hair.
I am.
Yes, indeed. And I'm going to bring this up because you wrote an article all about how redheads are ace, and I agree.
I did.
You did. And because it was interesting to me. I feel like when we grew up in the 80s, that wasn't a thing in New Zealand, like ginga and stuff. But when I moved to England in the 90s, oh boy, it absolutely was.
Yeah.
So I feel like New Zealand got infected by redhead phobias.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, we adopted that one as if we didn't have enough of our own.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll have that one as well.
Yeah, and it was so true in your article I was reading that, redheads are Ron Weasley's and redhead ladies are Jean from Mad Men and Jessica Rabbit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which obviously I fit right into.
Of course you do.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many men get sort of, I don't know, it's like if you're a female comedian with red hair, there can be some triggered men out there, and you get called fiery locks and flame haired. I get flame haired a lot in reviews and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to write that piece, because there seemed to be the tropes around a woman. It was fiery or you're crazy in bed.
Yeah.
And then for the poor blokes, you're never in bed. You know, it was like this, like you say, the Ron Weasleys and the thing that sparked that, I went to this exhibition in Sydney called Red Hot, because I always thought that I was more attracted to brunettes like me. You know how you think that you have a stereotype. And then I went to this exhibition in Sydney, and this photographer from the UK had created it and was taking it around. And because he'd grown up as a redhead, and as soon as he could had dyed his hair sort of bright platinum, going, ugh.
The 90s
because
probably.
he was teased and growing up at a rugby school in the UK.
Yeah.
And so he created this exhibition, and you walked in and I just went, wow. This is hubba hubba. The whole room, these giant portraits of these beautiful men.
Just men?
Just men. I then went, so I had adopted the stereotype myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
It's
interesting.
Bullshit.
I remember just thinking, I just don't even understand what this is about.
Yeah.
Like, when I went to England and stuff, it'll surprise listeners that I am not actually a redhead. I don't pay. Don't be ridiculous. $15 to do it myself.
You're au naturel.
Yeah, I've been doing it since 92. Yeah, 92. I don't even know what colour my hair is anymore. Well, I'm glad you've sloughed that off.
One article's just fixed it all.
Damien Lewis, he's reasonably hot.
Yes, he's reasonably hot.
Yes, he's reasonably. That's from Homeland, if you don't know. And Prince Harry, obviously.
Yeah,
the
hotter of the two.
When he tipped into being hot, like Prince William was like, I remember I hadn't looked at him for a long time, and then suddenly I looked at Prince William and was like, oh, he's very attractive. And then all of a sudden, he wasn't.
It was very brief.
It was a very brief window.
It's like 1997 to June 1998. Or...
I don't think 97. I think it was about 13. That's when she died.
No,
he was a bit sad then. She died.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, not that far. No.
But later.
He was not attractive then, no.
Sorry. This has taken a turn. And then Harry was just like, wow, for that whole time. Anyway, good. Funny.
Hot redheads.
Yes.
Well, you're a hot redhead.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I
Is
try.
it part of your identity being?
Absolutely now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely part of, it would be very strange for me to not. So that's why it's annoying that they keep discontinuing them. Yes. As I say, the struggle is real. Now, you're wearing a very fetching outfit today.
Thank you very much.
So what are you wearing there?
A dress.
With an excellent...
Are you talking about this?
I am talking about that thing. So are you all right to talk about that thing?
Yes, I'm very all right to talk about it.
Right.
I've started leaving the house in it.
Yeah.
Initially, I just rummaged around the house in it.
Right.
And then I actually wore it through the airport this week.
Oh, right.
And had security all up in arms about it.
Yes.
Because I'll show you. It's...
Oh, wow.
See, it's a brace.
That's where you could slip a gun.
Exactly. I could have a whole bomb down here, which is what they were worried about.
Yeah.
So it's a brace for scoliosis.
Yeah.
And I have a big curve on one side and a push out on this side. So it's pushing this way. And...
Oh, wow. It gets right in on your underarm,
it pushes
doesn't it?
up like that, so it pushes in this way.
Is it painful?
Yeah. No, it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. Which, has its own pain.
Yeah.
And does the rubbing underneath your arm hurt at all?
A little bit.
Right, okay.
I get a bit, sometimes I just get grumpy and
Yes, I'm not surprised. And could they not x-ray through that? I guess that comes up as solid, does it?
They were just instantly suspicious. They wanted me to take it off.
Did you?
I took it off.
Yeah.
And then once we got through, that was fine. But then when I got on the plane, I was in the emergency exit row, and someone came over and said, "We can't have people with disabilities in the." It was so interesting. I could feel myself getting quite haughty. It's not a disability, and even if it was a disability, I've ticked that I'm okay to. And then they said, "Well, could you take it off?" And I said, "I'm perfectly fine wearing it."
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I know that's what, because I'm epileptic and other people identify as disabled with that, but I don't. But then why is that? Is that my mind going, oh, I'm not disabled because that's a bad thing, which obviously it isn't. But that's that conditioning as well.
It's our ableist society.
It really is.
We grew up with that word being negative, but it's like the disability community now is going, we're owning that word.
Yeah, and then this government's come along and taken away their carers allowance. Aren't they special? Just the gift that keeps on
they're so loving, so kind.
They really are,
kind,
aren't they? Anyway, I'm going to get to my longer introduction for you now because we could just talk for hours. We did when you interviewed me about menopause, and we talked for about 12 hours. Angela Barnett grew up in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, then Napier, then Cambridge. She describes herself as a mother of two, sister, auntie, and daughter who tells stories or gets other people's stories into the media. She was instrumental in taking 42 Below vodka to the world, but sadly did not get any of the $36 million that it ultimately sold for. Her time with Bulimia made her realise how women are bombarded with so many messages around unattainable perfection, and has since dedicated a lot of her storytelling around fucking that shit up. She spent numerous years talking in schools through a program called Pretty Smart about all of this, but has decided to try, like Michelle Obama, to go high and hit this nonsense at a systemic level. She hopefully has a resource called Like Bodies, Like Minds coming out soon, which is currently sitting with the new government. No comment. She has collated a marvellously titled website, Fucking Awesome Bulimics, I Know, has interviewed such fabulous people as Chelsea Winstanley and Rose Matafeo. She currently works with the YWCA, putting out great stories like 25 Young Trailblazers Under 25, and is much more active on LinkedIn than I have ever been. So please welcome again our lady power proponent, Angela Barnett.
Ah,
welcome.
and Mahiana for that nice introduction.
That's right. But anyway, we should get to you and your body and things like that, which has obviously been quite a massive deal, I would say. So, how's your relationship been with your body through your life, and what journey has it been on?
Oh, such a big question.
I know, I feel like that for you it could be just the whole podcast.
Yeah, it could be, I know. Do you mind if we start back with the bodies I come from?
Wherever you want.
Because I feel like that...
I think that's really nice.
That starts with that. How my body came about is because it came from other bodies.
Exactly.
So my grandmother.
You were an egg inside your grandmother.
I was an egg inside my grandmother. And my body's it's sort of quite similar to hers. We're sort of scrappy, I would call us. Scrappy bodies with narrow hips.
Right.
And although she had a lovely bosom, I just seem to have the B part of the bosom. Not the whole bit.
The B cup?
The B. No, the A cup. Oh. I'm the A cup.
Oh, wow.
I'm the A cup, yeah.
Right, okay. Sorry.
And then post children, they're more like a couple of empty envelopes. It's like a padded bra I've got on here.
Right, I've never needed one of those.
No. So, yes, so very thin hips. And so when she was giving birth to my mother, she had been in labour for days. You know how women were left in labour for days. And then the doctor they thought that the baby was dead.
Oh.
And also, according to the stories from my mum, is that the doctor was a little bit drunk.
Oh my God.
And tried a forceps delivery, missed, so blinded mum in one eye. And then
For life?
For life. And then tried to yank her out by the arm and permanently paralysed her arm.
Oh my God.
So my mum started with this horrible birth.
Holy shit. And your grandma was traumatised by it.
Traumatised by it. They were very grateful that the baby was alive. They were told that she would never walk. And so my grandfather was amazing. She was put in the Wilson home in Takapuna, the Wilson home for disabled children.
Oh, wow.
Which was horrific. And so, they have stories of, they would go and visit her. She'd just be in this cot in this room with all these other kids. And it was so awful saying goodbye that Grandma would, in the end, couldn't say goodbye. She'd just pretend she was going to the bathroom and sneak out and go and wait in the car for Granddad because she just couldn't say goodbye to her daughter. So
how old was your mum then?
She would have been about 2.5.
Oh, fuck. Oh my God. It just, so the absolute lack of care for the mental well-being of children in care or so many children at all in this era is fucking gobsmacking.
I know. And at the time, the idea seemed like a great one was take children and put them in, because there's lovely grounds there, apparently, have them in nature without anyone thinking about taking them from their whānau. And so, and then...
The separation anxiety, abandonment complex.
Yes, yeah. And Mum remembers wetting the cot because she would just be left in there for ages and then being...
She remembers
told
that.
Off. Oh, that's her sort of earliest memory was this. I mean, for years we couldn't even drive past the place. Yeah. Dad would have to circle around and not go past the...
Oh my God, give your mother a hug from me. It makes me cry thinking about that. Ugh. Anyway,
so that was just such an awful start. Yeah. And then, the doctor that had said to Grandma and Granddad, she's not going to walk. Her name's Karen, my mum. Karen's not going to walk. And so my granddad, who worked a lot with racehorses and had grown up on a farm, and he would see the power of massage, he ordered from America, because there was no internet then.
Yeah, wow.
These
Mail
books
order.
On massage.
Wow.
And just took to massaging her legs. And they used to talk about the day when he walked back into the same doctor who'd said Karen's never going to walk, and he carried her in. And the doctor's like, hi Arthur, hi Karen. And Granddad just put her down and she walked all around the floor and he was gobsmacked.
Right.
So, really loving parents. But Mum grew up with quite a lot of shame around what her body could do and not do. And awesome. She went, I'm going to learn to touch type, even though she could use her fingers, and learn to drive gear shift. Travelled around the world with her mate and her combi van. So she's, full of life. But the shame sort of was early with her around her body. And then, like when you said earlier on that we moved to Cambridge, when we moved to Cambridge, I would have been 6.
Oh, right.
And so left Grandma and Granddad behind in Tamaki and all of her friends. She'd lived in Auckland all her life. And the Cambridge ladies were not quite as welcoming as...
Really?
Yeah.
So they just were like, oh, and why? Because she was it that Auckland stigma?
I think so. Yeah, she was the math teacher's wife, and she just found it really hard to make friends initially.
Right.
So while my brother and I were running off, we were at primary school, made friends, and Dad made friends. So then Mum...
In the beautiful bucolic setting that is Cambridge, rolling green.
Yeah, I know, with the leaves falling and the,
Yes.
Everyone looking out to their
estates
and their horses and their let's have some white wine, except for not with Karen because she's from it's just
that's
awful
horrible
and hard.
Yeah.
And so then she became depressed, and then she was given, I don't know what she was given pills that put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That was the start of my relationship with my body.
Yeah.
It was Mum's relationship with weight at that point.
Did she talk about it a lot in front of you?
Yes, because she was so frustrated. And initially, because she wasn't told, by the way, this is a side effect, for her she was in her mid-30s, her body was just changing, felt out of control for her.
And she didn't, that sounds like me. She had no idea.
It sounds like you when you were a teenager.
Putting on my epilepsy pills,
With
putting
the
on
epilepsy
weight.
pills.
I can relate to your mother.
I know.
Yeah.
And then you get the judgment from the outside world.
Yep.
And it feels like,
I
can't do anything about this. And then in comes the diet industry.
Yes, that are very willing to
Help
predate.
you out.
Predate.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Even though 95% don't work.
Yeah, right.
So I grew up with her sometimes she would be on the Scarsdale diet. She did Jenny Craig, she did Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
Do you know they used to give you at Weight Watchers, if you the person who lost the least amount of weight, you'd get a little piggy, a little ceramic pig to take home.
Oh, God.
Terrible.
I am genuinely horror. Oh, my fucking God.
They
Oh,
did
my
that for years.
God. I've got a small pig that I use as when poets go over time. I call him Kevin Bacon. I have a great fondness for Kevin Bacon, but that is horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because instilling shame in a woman is a really great way to empower her.
That's right.
Oh, my God. And she used to get that.
She got the little piggy and that, so.
Oh, my God. I can't even. Right.
So, and the reason why I'm sharing all of this is when you get to my stuff and my bulimia, I think it's important not to blame the mums because it's so easy to...
Yeah, because they were just victims of the same shit.
Yeah. We grew up with what was the box with the Special K with the red swimsuit.
We so did. Oh my God, we so did.
Yeah.
Forgotten about that.
Yeah. I'm eating my cereal and there's the...
I used to eat Special K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and Sultana brand. Probably too much sugar in it.
Yes.
Too much sugar. Right. Wow. Yeah.
So then Mum went on the yo-yo dieting and I saw her. So she experienced a bit of weight discrimination, and I think I absorbed all of that.
Of course.
And when I came out, I was a wonderfully Buddha-like little baby. It looked like I had rubber bands on my, around my wrists and my elbows. And so when I got to about 8, Mum put me on a diet, 8 or 9.
Oh.
Not knowing, having no idea. We didn't even talk about eating disorders then.
Yeah, of course.
And because I just had puppy fat. And so Mum would look at me and think, I don't want her to experience what I've experienced.
Yeah.
I'm going to put her on a little diet. And I don't remember what the diet was, but I remember what I wasn't allowed.
Which was what?
Because my brother was allowed to, I love sausages, snarlers, love a good snarler.
Yeah.
He was allowed to eat sausages and stewed apple and ice cream.
Oh my God. That's like the staples of the 80s. Was this was the 80s?
This is the 80s.
Yeah. Wow, sorry, because how old are you?
Oh, no, hold on, I'm 53.
53.
So no, this was
late 70s.
Late 70s.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's oh my God, that's all everyone ate in the late 70s is sausages
I
and
know.
stewed apples.
Yes.
Often together.
And custard, sometimes custard thrown in.
Oh my God, that's so harsh too that you weren't allowed it when he was.
Yes.
He's the boy. He doesn't have to worry about
that's
it.
Right. He doesn't
but
have
the
to
lady
look for it.
does. Yeah, fuck.
So
right.
we ate gendered stuff. And
Yeah, so then how did this manifest into
big
full noise
bulimia.
bulimia, as you call it? And thank you for talking about this because, it's a big deal.
I'm really comfortable talking about it now.
Yes, more so than menopause.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, which is interesting. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We will.
But yeah.
I'm out now about everything.
Yes, good.
And throughout high school, I experienced something at intermediate school where I had a boyfriend ditch me on sports day, watching me do the high jump. Apparently my scissoring of the legs was very uncoordinated.
Boys like scissoring, I hear. Particularly if there's another lady involved. But anyway, right. Yes.
I was very entertaining with my scissoring, but not getting over the high jump. And he dumped me and had said to his mates, she's not sporty enough. And so I had connected
sporty with physique.
Sporty physique, attraction, attention with body shape.
And this is intermediate.
This is intermediate.
See, this is what I decided. I mean, no offense to butt into that, was something ridiculous. But I went to a school that went up to Form 2, and it was a Catholic school. So there was no... all of my friends went to intermediate. It just seemed like a hotbed of fingering behind the bike.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Whereas this was people I'd known since I was 5, so there was none of that going on. And then I went to a girls' school, which could explain my late blooming in the sexual departments. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, intermediate was just patting and fingering and all sorts.
Yeah, the bases, yeah. He didn't get his finger in.
All right. As he shouldn't.
No.
Didn't deserve.
That's right. You're not going to admire my high jump abilities.
You can't get a finger in.
You don't get to third base. Was it third base? Maybe
I can't remember. And there was something about one finger and two fingers. And yeah, that's with different bases.
It was. It was.
Anyway.
There was lots of that going on at intermediate.
Yeah.
But then I had to go back to the school a year later, and we'd shifted away to Napier by this point, and I had to cycle for 30 minutes to the new school every day, there and back. And so my body shape changed over those 2 years. And when I went back, we visited the school. I can't remember what reason why, but all I remember was the attention I got. And the boy that had dumped me was like, can I go out with you for one day? Oh my God, you're so...
Go out with you for one day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so gross.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, wow.
So then my little brain went,
Yeah, right.
Anyway, we can fast forward through high school. So I managed to get through high school okay.
Right.
And then I was first year of uni that the big bad bulimia came along.
Right. And what university was this?
Vic,
Wellington.
Right.
And why?
Why? All that kind of, I guess had first been put on a diet when I was young. So I knew that there was a connection between trying to control food and trying to control your body. And first year of uni, I just embraced binge drinking.
Of course.
As we like to do.
Yes. What year was this?
This was 1989.
Yeah, I was 92 was my first year. And yeah, I drank 4 jugs.
Oh, yeah. I used to go and get a jug of brandy and dry because I didn't like beer. So I'd get brandy and dry in the jug with a pour it in.
Sorry, I'm like, what? That's crazy. Yeah. Right, okay.
Yes.
Christ.
And then, like pies on the way home. And my body changed. And I had those same feelings. I felt like the 8 or 9 year old before the dieting. I felt almost like this is what's happened to my mum is happening to me, out of control.
Yeah. And had she put together the weight gain with the antidepressants yet?
No.
Yeah, right.
No, that had still just become this sort of mystery that had happened to mum. And so I thought, it's just starting earlier or...
Yeah. Now, I mean, everybody put on weight in university.
I know.
Well, I didn't so much because that's when I started going on Jenny Craig and stuff like that. But everybody around me, like all my friends that were skinny at high school, suddenly with all that drinking, it's just what happens at university. All that drinking, pies on the way to lectures, all that sort of stuff.
So you did Jenny Craig...
Yeah, in my first year at university. I was on it for 6 months and I lost 4 kilos.
Oh my goodness.
And I was hungry all the time because it was my medication, but I didn't realise that. And I would sit in my car and sob after going to a Jenny Craig appointment, and my parents paid for it the whole time, which was amazing. But yet we're like, what the fuck, Yeah, my parents offered to pay for me to go on Jenny Craig out of the blue. But I was actually really like, oh, thank God, yay, because I was so miserable.
Yeah.
Like you see pictures of me at the end of 7th form and I'm just so miserable. Because I started taking the pills at the end of 6th form. So for the whole of 7th form, I just sort of went...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Such a tender age for that to happen.
It's the worst.
And did you
17.
know that the pills would...
Not till I was 32.
Oh, so then you...
Yeah,
so then
it's all my fault.
Then you wonder this is the thing that I get so worked up about weight discrimination is people think it's a choice.
Yeah.
Often.
Yeah, and I was dieting, like I was going to the gym 5 days a week.
Oh.
I've been a member of Les Mills since 1992. But I actually still go and I like going to the gym, and it's good for
it's actually good for our
and
perimenopausal bodies.
Exactly, like doing weights, but also it's good for cardiovascular to keep my fitness up for sword fighting.
Yeah, sword fighting.
Yeah, and the tempestuous, I do some sword fighting with myself, etc. Yeah. Anyway, so back to you.
Oh yes. Well, I'm sorry though that you experienced that.
It's not your fault.
I understand. It's not, and it's not your fault.
Yeah. No.
It's
the patriarchy.
Yes, it is the patriarchy. It's capitalism. It's the
and drugs and doctors. Yes, male doctors not telling me
exactly.
Yeah,
male doctor that didn't tell my mum about it.
Even though I don't know. Yeah, it's not. I've had some good male doctors. I hasten to
Yes,
add.
actually, that's true.
Yes,
I have too.
Yep.
Where are we? Oh yes, the big bee bathroom. So then it seemed like a genius idea because I didn't want to stop the pies in the morning.
Of course.
At 2 a.m. in the morning. And I didn't want to do any dieting.
Yeah, wow.
And so, I mean, I still remember it. I still remember
the first time?
The first time.
Wow.
I remember what I ate.
Wow. What it looked like coming back again. KFC. Oh my God.
Mashed potato and gravy.
At least it probably came out quite easy.
Really easy
that lubricant.
Yeah, you get really good at knowing what's.
Oh my God. Sorry, I shouldn't, but yeah, it's like,
No,
wow.
it's a funny subject. That's why I like to
talk about it.
Also laugh about it. It's barfing has always been a funny
I know.
thing.
And what do your teeth look good? Are they all right?
Yeah, the teeth. It's somehow I didn't mess up the teeth.
Right, that is amazing.
I don't know how I got away with that.
And so, and you did it for 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like when you hear 10 years. So I didn't want to go into my 30s with it.
Yeah.
So I had this. I'm going to stop smoking and I'm going to stop the barfing.
Oh, your doctor told you not to smoke for scoliosis, and yet you did.
Yes, I might have done that.
Okay,
Yeah,
right, just making sure.
Oh,
I thought that was like such a head prefix. Excuse me, I remember something from earlier.
Didn't you say that would not be good for you?
You didn't say that. Well, she said that before we turned on the recorder. But right, okay, yes, yeah, no, absolutely, I can see that. So you just kept it up. Or did your friends know?
So it was worse in my early 20s.
Right.
So I started at 19, kind of 21, it was really bad. 22, I was working in a restaurant. So eat all the delicious food. Actually, this was terrible. I was in this flat in Mount Vic, and it was a very old, as they are, all the houses in Mount Victoria.
Yes.
And the bathroom was upstairs. And at one point, and the pipes from the bathroom went all through the front yard out to wherever they connected up to. And the sewer pipes were blocked.
Because of your vomit.
Well, I never confessed to him that we also flattered with the vegetarian, and I said, it'll be the vegetarian. It'll be all those fecal matter.
Oh my God.
But we had to have, people come in and dig up the front yard and unblock the pipes. And so I did feel a little guilty, like, oh, that might have been me, but
wow, we had that
I'm
once.
not going to admit it.
And it was tampons.
Ah.
It wasn't me, but yeah, there was tampons filling up the plumbing situation. So
see, it might have been tampons.
Yeah, because we didn't sort of know not to do that in the 90s. I think we were told to just flush them away.
Yeah. Quick, hide the evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't put it in the rubbish bin.
Yeah,
someone might find it.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, right? Okay, so you clogged up the sewer system.
I clogged up the sewer system. That was quite an achievement.
So would you vomit in the morning after eating at night?
No, at night.
You'd vomit at night.
At night.
So you'd eat it, wait an hour.
I wasn't a very quick bulimic, so I would have to eat a lot of food to feel really sick to bring it all up. Oh. So it started these sort of like a alcohol binge, like a food binge.
Yeah.
So it starts off, this is what's so crazy about these disorders, is that it starts off being about food, but at some point it switches over to being a way to cope with shitty things.
Oh.
So, what started off as kind of this strange, crazy cycle of I can't, every day, if you imagine it like an alcohol binge, every day you'd wake up, okay, right.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wash my hair. I'm going to go for a run or go to Les Mills. Or it's all going to be great. I might eat all bran because no one throws up all bran.
That would hurt. Ugh. Yeah, and it's so dry. It would just go, no, I'm not doing it. Right, okay.
And then, trying to not eat. Then there would be probably about 50 different foods that could start a binge.
Right.
So many different ones.
And all bad for you?
all tasty.
Which is often bad for you, let's be honest. Right, okay. Right.
Yeah. Oh, nachos, chips.
And nachos were
scones.
so big then.
Oh, they were, nachos were really big in the 90s.
They really were. Chicken nachos from the can.
Yeah. Quite hard to bring up though, actually.
Yes, I'm sure. Oh my God. Ouch. Pain. Right, okay.
Sorry, we can edit out those gross
No,
bits.
I don't think we should.
Okay.
And I obviously don't want this to be a how-to or anything like that. But
No.
it's just so fascinating to me. And then, because I've read, I haven't actually been around that much eating disorder stuff, which is like for me. I mean, I would say that I've had obsessions with it, but it hasn't manifested in the traditional ways, like vomiting and stuff like that. So it's just like that whole thing that is when you eat something and you let it sit for a while, you immediately feel disgusting or...
Yes. It actually bulimia sits on the spectrum of addiction and melancholy. So it does have addictive tendencies. So if you imagine it's like the alcoholic who goes, okay, I'm not having the sherry today. I'm not going to have it.
Not having the brandy and dry
in a jug.
Yeah.
Just going, followed by tequila shots, but I'm not having the sherry. Yeah. And then you have the sherry and then you have the whole bottle.
Yeah. It's like you have a biscuit, so then you have 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it just starts this...
it's expensive.
Yeah. I spent a lot of money
on food.
And going to dairies and going to different... And then you have to have your places where you throw up.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted anyone to know. So you don't want people to know in your flats.
Yeah, and did they know?
They never said, but I'm sure they knew.
Right.
Yeah. But I always tried to flat with people that had boyfriends or girlfriends that took them out of the flat and they'd stay in it. So I tried to flat with people that...
So that was a conscious choice all through your 20s?
Yeah. Oh, no, not all through my 20s.
Oh, that's the beginning.
It's kind of in the worst part.
Right, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, and then when I got to about 25 or 26, and then I told my best friend because I was starting to feel... Well, actually what would happen is if we'd have too many... We'd moved on to wine by this stage. We'd moved past the brandy and dry. If we'd have too many wines sometimes, and she'd ask me a particular question, sometimes I would get upset and start crying, and she'd say, what's wrong? And I never wanted to say it. And so she was always just trying to dig into what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Why does it only come up when you...
Right.
Yeah.
So you told her.
So I told her, and she...
That must have been a massive moment for you.
Oh,
knocking down a wall.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she, that great fear you have of if I share my worst secret, that you're going to not be my friend anymore.
Yeah.
And she was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have some friends for a while, and it took me a while, and I told my mum, and that was quite a big deal. Like, I don't have any friends. And it was really shit. So... and just holding it inside for so long, which isn't as same as that, but yeah.
It is, yeah.
And
it
she,
is the same.
I mean, she wouldn't be a very good friend if she wasn't amazing at that moment.
That's true.
Yeah.
She wouldn't. Even
though some people get confronted, they don't know what to do they? So she helped you?
Yeah. Yeah, she said, right, what do you need to, how do I help?
Yeah.
And
that's what I'd be like. How do we fix it?
Yes.
Which sometimes isn't that.
Oh, I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Don't make me, don't try and make me stop.
Yeah.
But just help me talk to someone. And we found a group at the hospital.
Great.
That was specifically for bulimia. But at this stage, I think I was thinking, I was like, I don't have a disorder.
I'm throwing up the whole time.
Yeah,
but I'm fine.
But this is not a disorder.
Well,
it's not an eating disorder. It's just this strange thing that I do.
Yeah, wow. Were you very skinny?
No. No. Because I had such long binges. So, like mine might start at work with the afternoon tea, for instance. But I'd have to wait for everyone to leave the office. I might have been to the supermarket. I might have... So your body had absorbed some nutrients. Yes. I mean, my body was like, oh my goodness, I've got to keep up, digesting, working extra hard to try and get through all the food that I'd put in. So by the time I get round to throwing it all up, I was never throwing it all up.
Yeah, right.
So I never looked like I had an eating disorder.
Right.
My weight was always just going up and down.
Right.
Just because my poor body was like, oh, I don't know what to do with a scone. Should we?
Yeah. And did you forget about that, or were you always looking in the mirror constantly? Because I'm always still looking in the mirror going, do I look big in this? It's like my complete, I wish I could just slough it all off, but I can't. Yes, I was during that time, I was so harsh on my body. I was looking at it in way, like I had it under a microscope all the time, in ways that no one else was.
No. And other people wouldn't have noticed my weight going up and down like I did. Like I would notice, Oh, my fingers are...
My fingers are fat?
Well, I put on weight very evenly everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. It's just kind of an even distribution. And so I could tell, like, my face would puff up when I'd been binging, and my fingers would puff up. And so sometimes, and I had teeth scars on my knuckles.
Teeth? Is that what?
Yeah.
From stopping yourself? Or is
No,
that how
that's
you...
from throwing up.
That's how you would do it? Put your whole...
no.
Oh, you like the finger gets...
down.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my...
And
my
so
word.
then I would be, people are going to notice if my fingers are swollen and I've got... No, people didn't notice.
Wow. And were you in, like, relationships with men?
I was very... in the worst years, I was probably the ultimate girlfriend because I was very elusive and quite often fickle and
keep me
not
keen.
I was definitely like that. Sometimes I'd want to go home with them. Other times, say we might go out, I'd be like, no, I'm going back.
Because you're going home to vomit?
Yeah. So I kept people at a distance.
Wow.
Then I did live with, when I dated who I ended up marrying, not the person I had children with, but first husband.
Right.
The training marriage.
The training marriage,
Yes.
got it.
So when we first lived together, we lived in a house on the terrace in Wellington there was 8 other people. It was a massive big house. And so I made a deal. I can never vomit in the house because it was shared bathrooms and lots of people there, and I didn't want him to know. And so then I started this. I used to feel so seedy. I used to keep at work in the back of the filing cabinet belts so that...
Why?
So if I'd started a binge and sometimes I couldn't, sometimes it was hard to make yourself throw up. It's hard. Sometimes it wasn't always easy for me. So I'd put the belts on, like 2 belts.
And make them really tight?
Make them really tight.
And then go to the toilet at work?
And go to the toilet at work.
Oh, that's a commitment.
Yeah.
And how old were you at this point?
I was doing that even when I was about 27 or 28. I was doing that.
So you were still going to the hospital?
Oh, no, the hospital. That's right. The group at the hospital, I'd gone into that group thinking, I'm not really disordered. And so I would sit in the group and I would judge everyone else.
Wow, right.
There'd be the student that would throw up fruit. And I'd think, oh, well, no one wastes fruit. You've got to keep that down.
Oh, my God.
or there was a mother. I remember there was a mother who would get up in the middle of the night and binge on loaves of bread and things, and then there'd be no bread for the lunch boxes in the morning. And so I would sit there in I think I was probably 25 then, going, well, I won't be doing this when I'm in that, just judgy. And then one day I was having a really hard time and I broke down and cried in front of the group. I sort of told everyone, I thought that I was better than all of you, and I'm not. I'm like, I'm as messed up, and I eat the bread, and sometimes I'm throwing up fruit. I just had this full vulnerable moment, and it was silence. No one said anything. And the 2 people running, and I was bawling, and then the 2 people running the group didn't know what to do. And then afterwards it was sort of, right, does anyone else have anything to share?
Oh, my God.
And I just felt like I'd sort of splattered myself all around the room.
And was anyone annoyed about what you'd said?
That I'd been honest about judging them?
Yeah.
No, because I think everyone else was judging
everyone else as well, yeah.
There was sort of a nodding of, they were all, we were all trying to benchmark ourselves of not being as fucked up as each other.
And did you feel better for doing that?
Then I left.
After?
Then I never went back.
Oh.
Because I felt so...
Yeah.
Oh.
It felt like maybe they could have... Something more could have been said at that point?
Just a tiny thing.
Like something.
Something.
Yeah.
Any words.
Yeah.
Any words would have been helpful.
Right, so then you left and then you were back on your merry way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But then it just became... It sort of then just ended up being like a dirty secret habit.
Mm.
So, I mean, sometimes I'd go a month without...
Oh,
and then
that must
other
be
times,
quite full of hope. And then
it probably averaged about... I know before I sort of stopped, I started keeping a diary. That was really helpful.
Right.
Someone actually at that group had said a diary is really helpful. So I started to write it down. When it happened, I used to write it in code. So if my husband found it, he wouldn't go, holy shit, is this why? Because often I was saying I was working late. Sometimes he'd accuse me of having an affair and like, why are you not coming home? And you say you're leaving and that.
Oh, wow.
And
he had no idea.
I did tell him at one point, but when I told him, I made it seem like it was something I was over.
Right.
Because I didn't want him to be monitoring me, I think. So it was easier to say,
And that's hard, isn't it? You can see
this thing.
The honesty is a bit missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had his own addiction.
Oh.
Which is why I think I was attracted to him. Because I was like, look at us two messed up peas in a pod together.
Wow. Okay.
So it meant that we wouldn't really ask questions of each other.
Right.
He loved to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but the diary. So the diary was really helpful. And that's when I discovered this connection between, wow, it's not actually, like for years I'd think, how come I just don't have any control around the nachos? How come I can't stop? Like, why can't I get on top of this cycle? I just feel like a monster would move in and I had no control over it and the shame around it. And then you're writing it down in code, like, oops, happened again. I'll do something like that. But then I started saying what happened before that. And that's when I realised, this is me responding to something that I didn't know how to deal with. Just a small thing. Not invited to a meeting or a shitty thing that the husband said or just anything emotional.
So the thing is a lack of control in another area, but then you could control this.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
So then I noticed the pattern. Every time it happens, just a little something's happened. And instead of just working through the emotion of that, you pile all the food on, and by the time you've done all of that, and then you've thrown it all up, and then, you're all good. So it was a very long, messy way to deal with life.
So how did you finally stop?
So I identified all those patterns, and then I just made a deal with myself, 30.
Had you turned 30?
The deal was, by the time you turn 30, you have to have stopped. And I turned 30, I still remember all the dates. I turned 30 in the year 2000 in June, and the 15th of Feb 2000 was the last time I put my fingers down my throat.
Wow.
Out with the fags out. So I stopped the physical. I was able to
That's amazing.
manage the...
That you're quitting smoking as well, which is an enormous feat. And did you go and get therapy or you just stopped?
I stopped there. I stopped the physical side, and then I thought I was all fixed. Of course I wasn't.
Yeah.
But, I still... If you were around me, you'd still find me really annoying around food.
Right.
You know, sometimes there might be plates will come out and there might be something that I'd still have going in my head. Oh, I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat that and have the mental worry of eating it. So I was still a bit weird around food, but I wasn't throwing up. But then I went and found, when I lived in New York, I discovered that I had a bit of a penchant for addicts.
Right.
And was also sort of having... had quite a few relationships that just ended in
drama,
disaster.
Right.
And so I looked up in New York and I sort of asked this question, I wonder if they connected my relationships and my eating disorder. They're probably not. But I found this therapist in New York that specialised in both relationships and eating disorders.
Great.
And so I said to her in the first session, look, I'm just having, I was 35 by this stage, look, I'm just having a few relationship problems and stuff with love, and I used to have an eating disorder, and I'm sure they're not connected, but, you specialise in both, and I probably only need a couple of sessions.
She's like, honey, sit down.
Oh, right, yeah, she was.
I got something to tell you about.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get comfy on that flat leather couch.
Yeah, wow.
There are the tissues, yeah.
Right, and so how long did you go to her for?
Between 6 and 8 months.
Right, and then was that life-changing?
Yeah, amazing.
Great. And then did you manage to kick the habit of the addicts?
Dating the addicts?
Yeah.
Yes.
You cut your addiction to dating addicts, right? Okay.
I did.
Well done. Thank you. Well done. Right. And so then you felt reborn after that?
I think I just understood myself, and I had to do actually she made me do this right at the end. She kept saying to me, it sounded so weird. She'd say, I want you to go and buy a doll. And I would think, what?
Yes.
No, I'm not doing it. Oh, actually, at one point in the middle, I tried to break up with her as well. And, it's very hard to break up with therapists because, they leave a message. I think you need to come in and tell me why you want to break up with me. And then by the time I did that, anyway, so I'm so glad I didn't. She knew she was getting close to sort of uncomfortable stuff. And, she kept saying, I want you to go and buy a doll. Anyway, towards the end, I was like, all right, I suppose she's been quite good at other things. I'll go and buy the doll. So I went up to...
FAO Schwartz?
Toys R Us.
Oh, Toys R Us.
The massive one
in
Times Square that's got a Ferris wheel in the front. And I'd said, well, what kind of doll? And she said, well, you'll know when you see the doll. I was like, oh, this is just getting really woo-woo.
Yeah.
She wasn't woo-woo. And anyway, I went up to the second floor, walked around, and then I found the doll. It was this sort of squidgy fabric doll, not a plastic doll. It smelt of vanilla, had dark hair, plaits, and a little hat. I just went, oh, that's the doll, bought the doll, and then... Oh, the other thing she'd said that she wanted me to do was write a letter to my younger self. That's quite often a thing. I'd never heard of that as a thing. So I bought the doll, and I was going to catch the subway back down to my apartment, and then I started walking, holding the doll, and then I just bawled. I walked all the way back.
Because that doll reminded you as a child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wrote the letter.
Yeah.
Dear 8-year-old me, back to the one that couldn't have the snarlers and the... I'm so sorry you couldn't... But it started... The letter to younger me was sort of 35-year-old me being probably a little bit patronising. I'm so sorry about all the things, and sorry about all the addicts, and sorry about all that, dragging you to bathroom. Like, I was a little bit in that, probably more like an aunt trying to speak to a younger... And then So I wrote that letter to myself, and then I felt like younger me going, well, we can't stop there. I've got things to say to you. And with this younger letter, this younger version was like, Dear Angela, by the way, you can't just say sorry and think that that's it. Like, this is serious. If you really want to listen to me, then you have to listen to me. If we want to, whatever we want to do, you have to totally listen to me. If you want to eat the cake, we want to eat the cake. Stop with the control. Stop with the assholes.
Right.
You want to masturbate at 2 PM. You want to it was this kind of angry voice coming back going, you have ignored me for so long.
Were you stymieing your thrill of masturbation? Was that your body giving you pleasure that you wouldn't allow?
No, I wasn't actually at that point, but I had, I didn't figure out what my clitoris could do till I was 24.
Right.
And so...
Yeah, I was a bit late to that, but a bit earlier than that, 18.
18.
But yeah, I didn't know. It's right. Right. Oh yeah, a friend of mine was in therapy for her parents splitting up and wrote that letter, and it was just before her parents split up. She wrote the letter to herself, and she just was in absolute bits. So that is quite, watch out what's coming around the corner. Your parents are about to split up and hate each other, and and so it was just, so it seems like that's a common thing that just unlocks a world of grief that you hadn't thought about.
No.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Right, and then you managed to let go of all of that other control and stuff about food and things.
Yeah.
And what do you like now
around food?
Mm-hmm. And having children.
And having children, yes. Well, it was interesting falling pregnant, having to
get fat.
Yeah.
So how did you cope with that?
It's so much better than I thought I would. I thought I would. I just wasn't sure. I thought it would be terrible for me in my head. But
did you focus on the fact you were growing a person?
Not initially. Actually, when I was first pregnant, and I just had this, I didn't feel sick in the morning. I used to feel sick. I used to call it sunset sickness. And so then it's just this overwhelming desire for pizza, and I really wanted fried rice, and I wanted, all these.
God, that must have been triggering.
Yeah, and
vomiting from
all the foods, nacho, all the things that used to be the triggering foods. And I was starting to feel a little bit, how do I know, is this my old eating disorder coming back, or is this just because I'm pregnant?
Oh my God.
And so
that's a lot. It's a lot.
And, I asked my husband, well, I don't know. No one else knows. And so I did go and see someone. Right. I went for 2 sessions. This amazing Scottish woman in Wellington just explained that. They weren't an eating disorder specialist, but I just to talk to someone. And she said, it's just your body telling you what it wants. You know,
yeah,
trust it. So then it was permission to, okay, this is my body almost yelling at me. We want pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to help with the feeling,
growing some synapses.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So it was a great process in trusting.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, that must have been. And did you vomit because of being evening sick?
Oh, no, sorry. I wasn't vomiting.
Right.
I would feel sick.
Right.
And then I would want, the foods that, yeah.
Right.
So it was just learning to trust that.
And do you have boys or girls?
Boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl. And how old are they?
15. Girls 15.
Right.
Boys 17.
And so how did that go through all of those ages, and you trying very hard, I'm sure, not to model behaviour?
It's the biggest fear.
Yeah.
For people who've had an eating disorder.
I'm sure. It's especially because it's very prevalent still, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. So I mean, at times my husband would be like, he'd say, I think maybe you were overly worried about things,
You're overly compensating.
Yeah. And
what do you think your daughter? You've obviously talked about it.
I've talked about it, and actually at one point recently, it came up, and I said something like, "Oh yeah, I had bulimia," and she went, "Did you? Oh, I didn't know that." And I thought I told you earlier, but obviously it hadn't stuck, and she's.
Oh, I thought she was joking. No, really, you haven't told me that. Oh no, she actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've told them, but very downplayed it.
Right. Okay.
But she came, when I used to do those talks in schools, she came once with me on a trip. We had a bunch of schools down the West Coast, and she came with me and would have to sit and press the button for I used to play quite a few videos and things. And so from a very young age, I'm always wanging on about fat phobia and the messages in the media, and we get taught all of this stuff and the
beauty industry. Yeah, I thought you were writing about bleaching creams and stuff like that. It's just horrendous to me.
Yeah.
Like that are so big in Asian and, African countries. Right, yep, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So she's osmosed all of that.
Oh, I hope so.
And do you think
she's...
Yeah, and how is she, and if you don't want to talk about that, it's absolutely fine, but do you feel that she is managing to push that aside, or is she just in it like we all are?
Mostly, her and her friends are... They're just in a better space than we were.
Great.
They can be... She's super tall. She's Dutch. And so for a little while there, so she was taller than her older brother.
Right.
And so that was her thing for a little while, was I'm too tall. Like, there's no too tall, darling. It's like... And she loves her Oma, her grandmother. Be like, you think how amazing she is. You have her height.
Yeah.
You just have to think of that when you walk into a room. It's like, I've got all these amazing tall women.
Yeah.
Backing me.
Yeah, she'd be able to see at concerts.
Exactly.
Which I cannot do.
Exactly. Neither can I.
Right. Okay, great. Well, that's really great. That must be like...
But so far. Honestly, it's just, all right, we got them to this age. Oh, we got them.
Has your husband been a legend through all of this?
Yes, although we still talk about the terrible pumpkin night where, sometimes you revert back to how you were raised. He'd cooked a meal and there was mashed pumpkin.
Ugh.
And
yeah,
I know. And it was with our daughter, and she didn't want to eat it. And he was in a rage of frustration. He was like, "You've got to eat the pumpkin," and made her eat about half the pumpkin. And then I was like, "Do not force her to eat food." And and then suddenly the kids are like, "Whoa!" Mum and Dad are going at each other, and then she quietly slips away and leaves the pumpkin. And now we joke about it, like the horrendous pumpkin night.
Yeah, my mother was forced to eat the whole time, so she, the things that she hated. So she had this thing that we were never going to be forced to eat things, which was amazing. So we never actually had to do that.
Yes,
which is I mean, I had hang-ups in other ways, but. That was great not to be, And mashed pumpkin, ew.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
like,
roast
get
pumpkin.
over yourself. You made really awful pumpkin.
Yeah, exactly. You have to eat my mistakes. Eat my mistakes.
All of it.
Right. Okay, good. I mean, that must have been a bit of a learning curve for him.
Yes. Even just teaching them about... I've done a lot of reading. I think part of me, after the great therapy and all of that, the final step was to really separate out, to not take on any shame about what happened and the thoughts that I could still have, and really understand the system.
Yeah, I mean, to get away from shame from that is epic. Like, I think that's really impressive. Well done, you.
Oh,
I mean, seriously, because we have it shoved into us at length.
Yeah.
Well, now, but you were feeling a bit shamey about menopause.
I know.
So, which is a natural process.
Yes.
Yes. So explain that to me.
And you know that even the worst thing is that the work I do at the YWCA, we do work in organisations, and we were developing a menopause toolkit.
Right.
And at one point, the CEO of the Y had said, do you want to be in our media release? Is someone talking about? And because I help get the media releases out, and then and I said, well, it's weird if I put myself in the media release if I'm pitching it, which is true. That is weird. It sort of seems a bit.
I do that all the time. It's my life. But yes, anyway.
But it's different when you're the
only product.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you have to go, put me in your, because I'm so great. Yeah, that's what my life is like. But anyway.
Here's a quote from me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's weird. But anyway, back to you. Right.
So I'd said no. And then I thought about it and went, what am I doing? I think maybe because I work with such young women and I'm very out with all my friends, I think I was in the, is this just putting me in an age category? I think it wasn't the judgment about what my body was doing. I think it was probably more ageism.
Absolutely.
It was more ageism.
Like I was complaining about my hip pain to my friend a couple of days ago and she went, oh, it's just because you're getting old. And I got angry. Like, it's not her fault. I went, no, it's menopause. It's not, like I'm sick of menopause equaling age. Yes. I mean, we are getting older, yes, and our bodies start falling apart. No two ways about it. But, just that immediate, it's because you're getting old. It's like, no, it's because estrogen is leaving my body and I'm fucking not old and this is bullshit. And that's, but it is a natural process, yes. But it is frustrating when you don't feel old and you start creaking. So, and because of the way we've been taught to think about women who are no longer fertile as being invisible and useless, so you internalize that.
I know. And when actually when we come out the other side of the transition,
yes,
it can be an incredibly liberating, powerful time.
Yeah.
And so, that's I think the part that frustrates me as well, is it,
So now you've ripped.
Slipping into so I've ripped it off. And
yes.
I mean, the great thing I've discovered about all the times that I've talked about things, either if I've written about things, or there was one time when I did an interview with Catherine Ryan and I thought I was coming on as a body image expert for parents and she asked me all about bulimia.
Oh, wow.
I felt like I had no idea she was going to, I just didn't think she would ask me. I don't know why I didn't think that. I just felt like I was.
If it was in your press release?
No.
She'd just done some research and found you in a...
a friend of mine was a producer of hers, and so she knew I was doing this stuff in schools and said, we want someone to come on the parent section and talk about. So I had my little 5 points for the parents and the thing, and here's the thing about social media, and then the whole thing was about my bulimia. So, but I realised though, and so I was pretty mortified after that, but then I've realised, same with the menopause story, I wrote one a few months ago when everything was happening with Gories about confessing to stealing, going through a stealing phase.
Oh, you did? 40s. I stole postcards from the Vatican.
Oh,
yeah. I'm really going to hell. Yeah.
Did you keep the postcards?
Oh, yeah. I sent that to my boyfriend.
Did you tell him you'd stolen them?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple of moments. I stole some earrings once and some other things as well, just because I was so poor. But I wasn't that poor, and it was a buzz, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a buzz. So how old were you when you...
I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and I, terrible. And I was like, it was from a department store. I was like, no, it's terrible. It is just, I don't feel bad about the Vatican, I have to say. They've stolen quite a lot from a lot of people, but the other stuff, absolutely not. Yeah, it was a couple of things, like probably about $100 worth, Again, I'm like trying to diminish it. It's bad. Don't do it.
That's right. It is bad.
Yeah, but you know what goal was? I mean, that was from maybe the persistent threats of sexual violence that was fucking with her head a little bit.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That,
horrendous.
So horrendous in treatment. So I'd written one when all of that was happening, I went through a phase in my early 40s.
Oh, wow.
But I was really nervous about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big admission.
I might get... I work for a not-for-profit where we work on leadership with young women. They might go, what kind of leader is this? Who's... but
an honest one.
Similar to the writing about menopause or coming out about the bulimia is you work yourself up thinking, it's going to be a big thing. I mean, the great thing is that I'm not known, and so nothing happens. Nothing happens. No one, like if they read the story, they won't... okay. Some person had this experience, and I find nothing happens. It's all fine.
I talked about vulvodynia in The Listener. Nikki Pellegrino interviewed me about it, and I was like, and it was like, whatever. I mean, I've had Vagina News Network for a long time on this, but it's like, and I find as soon as you start scratching, as it were, the surface of something, people are very happy to talk about it. Absolutely. Yes. And I think, that story was great in the big idea because it's about, it's just about disseminating menopause information as much as possible. And people relate to it. And they look at that and they go, yes, this is something that I can relate to, and I think it's great to put it out there. And I just find it fascinating that you were bound up about it, but you think that's pretty much definitely the ageism situation.
Was the ageism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm out and proud about wearing the patches.
Yep.
And
forgetting to get them from the farm, going to the pharmacy, half an hour's drive to the pharmacy, and then forgetting why you're there and going home. And that is pretty impressive.
Especially seeing as I live a half an hour drive.
Yes.
From
so to go pharmacy. Back to get the patches again. Holy
I had
shit.
to send my partner was leaving the next day, so I had to get him because I couldn't be bothered turning around to go back in.
That is impressive.
But I do love that moment. I can still remember it, standing in the pharmacy like, I know I came in here for something, but I cannot remember what it was.
Drove for half an hour. That is very funny. Right, now I've got some, because we've been talking for a while.
Wow.
So do you have a favourite part of your body now at all?
Oh, yes. My clitoris.
Your clitoris?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Love it. You're the first person to say that.
Oh.
Wow. Good, because it gives you much joy.
Much joy.
Right.
I'm often amazed how that tiny little area can make the whole body feel fantastic.
Yes. Have you read about Nikki Bezant, about how big it is? Like, she's got a section in her new book, and she did a thing in The Listener about it. It's like, it's enormous, and it's all erectile tissue.
Yes.
Like, it's the only organ in both the female and male body that's purely about pleasure, I think. Because, the penis is obviously about urination and various things like that. So, yes, and it can make you feel good all over.
All over. And that it was only a couple of years ago when someone was selling clitoris earrings that I realised what it looks like as well.
Yeah, like a wishbone.
Yeah, that massive, all those big floppy ears like a soft toy. That's
right. Yes. Excellent, good.
So that would be my favourite.
Do you have a least favourite? And if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
No, I'm so careful to be very kind
to your whole body,
in terms of the stuff I say, only because I was so nasty.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, but I have a part that frustrates me,
okay,
which is I smashed all the high frequency hearing in my left ear.
By headphones or?
Oh no,
music?
when I first met my partner and I was showing off, pretending I could being the sure, I'll boogie board down the sand dune into the water and.
Oh wow! Just in one incident, did that?
And then we got on a plane and we went. We were in the Great Woo stage, and then we got on a plane and went over to Great Barrier. And I remember my mum saying to me, because I had a sore ear, she said, "Don't fly if you've got an earache." It's like, "Oh, mum, it'll be fine." Oh, gone.
Wow.
So I'm a bit frustrated with myself that I did that to myself.
Yeah.
And now I find if I'm in situations. I was just in a cafe in Wellington this week that had high ceilings and it was in the Lambton Quay area and everyone was all full of themselves talking about all the things and I was having to really lean in.
So here we go. Maybe you're going to have to focus on that slightly ageist thing of a hearing aid.
Yes.
Yeah, because my brother-in-law is lost hearing in one ear. So he has a hearing aid that sits there and then transmits the sound from there into his other ear. So that's a thing. So you can get all of the sound into one ear. Anyway, that's something to contemplate.
Good.
I know. That sounds like it could be good for you. Right, okay, that's fair enough. And how do you find your body serves your girls, apart from orgasms, obviously?
Yes. Well, I've got a perspective at the moment with my brother's got horrific cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And so I watch him. I watch how his body is slowly falling apart. And it's I remember hearing the poet Andrea Gibson talk about this. Her girlfriend was saying, who used to have a lot of eating stuff, and her girlfriend had said, watching Andrea, who's got stage 4 ovarian cancer, the girlfriend's Megan, saying, watching Andrea in her body sort of slowly falling apart has almost just was the final step in her losing all of her, any kind of body hatred, because she's going, all I can do is be grateful that I've got a body.
Absolutely.
And things. So it's.
So you're grateful that it just gets you through life.
Yeah.
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 I know we're so mean to the very thing that transports us through our whole existence.
Yeah.
It's bonkers when you think about it.
Yeah.
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 Well, I'm sorry for your brother.
Thank you.
It is shitty though, isn't it, that it takes something like that to make us stop being dicks.
I know.
I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I'm trying. I am trying.
Do you ever look into does it help for you if you look at this is the system that made me feel shit? Like this is the kind of stigma around weight or does it help?
No. It probably helps a bit. I mean, I know why at least.
Yes.
And I'm self-aware.
Yes.
So of all of my perfectionism and irritations and imposter syndromes and all that sort of stuff, at least I know it's there. So that does help. But I still just, that when I got that amitriptyline upper belly, I was like miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable. So yeah, it's all well and good to know, but to actually just slough it all off is hard.
It is hard.
Especially when, clothes might not fit you or they don't go big enough sometimes. Even that hasn't happened for a while. I had that like as a teenager. I'll have the next size jeans, please. They don't make those.
Oh, yeah, that's so hard as a teenager, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's much better now with like Kmart, Warehouse, what have you. At least they have clothes that encompass most sizes.
Yeah.
So that is great. Or Taking Shape or things like that, you know. I don't need to go to those places, but yeah, I mean, they just stopped. They just didn't make them.
Yes.
In 1990 that was, so that was fun. Now, what do you have I should ask this at the beginning. What did you want to be when you growing up?
I wanted to be a vet.
A vet? You are the second person that has said that to me, right? And then do you like, that's just far too much work? Or?
No, I'm actually, like, I like animals, but I'm terrible at helping them. Like, I'm...
Fuck you. You got worms? I don't care. What do you mean you're terrible at helping?
Well, I get scared of them. So I'm scared of chickens, for instance. Like
but they're terrifying.
Oh my God, they're so scary.
They're mini dinosaurs. Of course you're scared of them.
There's beaky beaks.
Yeah, when they're fucking
come
feet.
after you. And
No,
so,
I'm with you on that.
Like even when we had chickens and we had to clip their wings, like I was too scared to pick them up, and I'd have to get my partner to do it, Or even with the cat had been attacked by another cat recently and was in pain. And I knew I needed to pick him up to get him in the box to take him to the vet, but he was like at me. My daughter did it for me. I'm a wimp around them when they're hurt.
Yeah, so that's not good for a vet. Imagine that. You spend all that money going to vet school and then go, I don't know, fuck them.
Yeah.
And last but not least, what is your fun fact about yourself?
Oh, well, actually my fun fact is that I'm scared of chickens.
Henny Penny over here is terrifying too. Right, scared of chickens. Okay, good. Is there anything you'd like to plug or you've got coming up, or check your website out? Or?
Well, there was like Bodies Like Minds, the project that it does have an Instagram page. Oh, we just hope that it becomes a helpful resource for schools, which is what it was created. We are talking to a couple of places about turning it into an exhibition at the start of 2025. So
great.
Even if it doesn't end up becoming the book, although because there's 11 stories about the intersection between mental health and body image.
Right.
So
which
we
would
all
be really
exist
useful
in
to
the whole thing, you know, we're the whole...
That's what we've just been talking about for an hour and 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So they will, and I've partnered with amazing Wellington illustrator Ruby Jones on those. And so
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed that will become...
Not something that's just rolled back like everything else. Yes, indeed. And if you need some brand spanking, come talk to you.
Oh, brand spanking. Oh,
yes, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming out to West Auckland. Well, not quite as west as you, but yeah, inner West Auckland. And we'll see you when we see you.
Well, thank you so much for having me on.
No worries.
It was a lovely chat.
Good.
Yeah,
we could talk for
beautiful
hours.
questions.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you very much.
Oh, I might just have to...
Let it all
take
out.
this off.
There you go.